Hey guys, I'm Karina Connor with Space Coast Daily, right here in our Space Coast Daily studios in Cocoa. And today we get to welcome back some of our great friends at Launch Credit Union. We've got Kyle Sanders, and you are the VP of the Branch Experience, right?
That is correct, yes, thank you.
Yes, welcome back. And then of course we have Jennifer Weis, and you are the VP of Real Estate and Community Development.
Yes.
And today we get to meet also, hello, Miss Karen Tooley Curry,
That's
and
right.
you are the Executive Director for Tooley Community Development Group.
Correct.
Wonderful. And so folks, if you're just tuning in with us today, welcome back. And today we are going to talk about affordable housing in the community and how Launch Credit Union is teaming up with Tooley Community Development Group and just what resources there are here in the community. So stay tuned, guys, and we're going to kick it off today with Jennifer. Jennifer, why don't you tell us, I heard that Launch Credit Union is now offering CDFI. So first of all, what is CDFI? And then how is it helping the community, and how does that connect?
So CDFI means we're a community development financial institution.
Okay.
So what that means is we are able to try to get some grants to help our community here in Brevard and Volusia County.
Okay.
So one of the main topics that we're working on is affordable housing. So we'd like to try to get some grants so that we can open up and do more affordable housing, helping with down payment assistance and everything like that. Right now what we're doing with our CDFI is we actually have 2 full-time financial education coordinators. We have one in Volusia and one here in Brevard. And what they do is they go out in the community. It can be helping people in high schools, elementary, homeless shelters, anything that we can just get out and do some financial education for our community. So that's what we're out doing right now. So more to come with the CDFI.
Which is beautiful. I mean, it's such a necessary, I mean, we hear it all the time. Why aren't they teaching financial literacy in school? And how different communities sometimes are held back because they're not getting the right education in the foundation of it. You know, some people get a leg up there depending on where you could be from, right? Just because you don't know what you don't know.
Cool.
So I love that you guys are doing that. And what are some of the obstacles, Kyle, that you're facing with those looking to get into affordable housing?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now in affordable housing that are challenges. One is the cost of insurance has gone up so high, so that's made it more difficult for people to get into home ownership or really maintain home ownership. That also has driven up the prices of rentals. Interest rates are much higher than they are today than they were several years ago. And there's just a lot of factors out there that are preventing people from either owning a home or really struggling with renting a home. And Launch does a lot to help members pay down debt and prepare a plan for home ownership, but there needs to be more than that. And so we felt that connecting with the community and seeing where we can help more is what led us to connect with Karen, and she's got a phenomenal project that we think is going to support overcoming some of those obstacles that we're talking about.
Yes, and again, I think anyone that's tuning in right now can solely just agree that we're all feeling different, the economics of what's going on in all different capacities. But Karen, I'm excited to get to know you here today. So again, welcome. Now, you know, so East Mims has a lot of history.
It does,
right?
it does.
Can you tell me a little bit about that and how Tooley came to life?
Sure. So being born and raised in East Mims in North Brevard County, one of the sort of claims to fame of East Mims is the Harry T. Moore story. Yeah. So sometimes people, it's not it's not as widely known as it should be, because really it's sort of the predecessor of the civil rights movement. He was a pioneer. So when we think of the civil rights movement, usually we think of Rosa Parks, we think of the Montgomery bus boycott, we think of course, Dr. King. Well, all of that kicked off in 1955.
Okay.
Harry T. Moore was assassinated in 1951. So all his work was before 51, right? So, right. So he was one of the forerunners of the civil rights movement, and not too many people know that. Right. So I think that is the huge claim to fame in Mims. And I like to say that Mr. Moore was a shining star in Mims, but there was a constellation around him, right, of
Yes.
other families that also supported his work. So a lot of that rich history is still right there in our community.
That's beautiful. And, again, I'm up there a lot, and I remember I passed. There's a little museum there with
There
the park.
there
and
is.
I had passed it and did a little research because I thought it'd be a good place for me and my family to go visit. So that's there for the community, which is nice.
Absolutely.
Now, what's inspired Tooley Community Development to start undergoing this project? Tell me a little bit more about what this project is.
Awesome,
Actually,
I
let's
sure
start
will.
there.
I sure will.
What is this project that we're doing?
So my mother, Pastor Earlene Tooley, was a pastor in East Mims. So she pastored there for about 20 years. And during the time that she was pastoring there, I guess she was a little ahead of her time because she was thinking affordable housing, and she started buying land. So her goal was to build affordable housing in the community. She passed away in 2020 without realizing that goal. She left me responsible for her church. So what I wanted to do was to sort of carry that stuff across the finish line, right?
Yeah.
So when I became the leader of the church, one thing I wanted to do was make sure that we were impacting the community.
Yeah.
So instead of doing just like the every Sunday church, we started this outreach ministry
Okay.
called Tooley Community Development Group.
Okay.
Tooley based, my mom was Earlene Tooley, so Tooley Community Development Group. And the first thing we started doing was just walking through the community, knocking on doors, asking what people, it was right during COVID, what do you need, what's going on, how can
Right.
we help? And one of the things that we did come across a lot was the need for housing.
Yeah.
So the land that my mom had built, we decided we need to transform this into affordable housing. So as we were going through putting the funding and the financing together, I got a call from Kyle.
Look at that.
Because at the same time they were becoming a CDFI, and so it was just like this perfect marriage
Yes.
of how do we get this done in the community. And what we've landed on, the project that we've landed on, I'm so excited about. It's pretty unique in our area. It's called a pocket neighborhood.
Okay.
And so I don't want to say tiny homes because the idea of tiny homes, they're about 500 square feet. We're looking to do about 750 to 800 square feet.
Yeah.
Sort of efficiencies, maybe with a loft with the bedroom at the top. But they are not apartments. They're apartment sized, but they're single family homes.
Yes.
Because of how the zoning works in East Mims, we needed to do single family homes. So we're looking to do 10 of them on our parcel. They're built like little cottages. They're like little gingerbread houses, really cute.
Yeah.
And they have front porches on the front of all of them. They all face inward to a central courtyard. So you kind of make this compact little community that's kind of self-contained.
Yeah.
We'll offer, of course, services with them. Our organization is part of the Brevard Homeless Coalition. And so we understand the need. We have a waiting list of people that are ready to be in housing at any moment. So so that's the project.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that that's unfolding right here in Mims.
Yes.
And so you told me a little bit about what kind of housing it's going to be. And then what about, can you elaborate a little bit more on the sustainability initiative that's
Absolutely.
incorporated here?
Absolutely. So sustainability as far as the environmental impact. Basically, they're small footprint homes. So they don't add to the problems that we're having with clean cutting land and how the water flows to the river or how we impede water flowing to the river. So small footprint helps with that. The other parts of sustainability, I think, is just basically how much we add to the septic system in the area. We know we hear a lot about the lagoon and the pollution going into the lagoon and the old septic tanks that are out there. So what we're incorporating into this project is nitrogen reducing septic systems, which are the higher end septic systems because we're so close to the river. So we're doing that as well. And then on top of that, there's just lots of green space. Lots of green space. We're going to keep the beautiful trees that are, I think you guys saw yesterday, the beautiful trees that are on that parcel. We have some huge magnolias and oak trees So we're going to make sure we try to keep as many of those as we can. So now that's the sustainability as far as the environment. We're also working on making sure that we sustain the affordability of the project. So we're working with the Housing Authority of Brevard County to incorporate site-based HUD vouchers, Section 8 vouchers into the project
There you go.
so that they remain affordable. It's not like in 5 years we're going to say, okay, now it's market rate, you know? So they will have to remain affordable, and also based on our funding sources, they'll have to remain affordable pretty much perpetually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you, again, for carrying this across the finish line.
Absolutely.
And then making sure, too, that longevity-wise, it stays exactly as, it's been meant to be, because,
Right.
as things change. Now, we've talked a little bit about some of these. Is there any other economic benefits that you could see that Tooley Oaks is going to be bringing to the community of MIMS?
Absolutely. I think that definitely in partnering with Launch, bringing in that financial literacy. I will say that I've been in housing for a while, and working in public housing, fair housing, and now affordable housing and homelessness services. And so one thing that I've realized is there needs to be a continuum of services. You can't just take someone who's currently experiencing homelessness and say, okay, we're going to do home ownership now. You know, there has to be steps along the way, and along with those steps, there has to be financial education. There has to be all kinds of education
Right.
to help people be prepared to sustain their self-sufficiency, right?
Exactly. At the right rate, like you said. You know, 'cause
Absolutely.
you can only learn at the rate where you are.
Right.
And now, next step.
And I can't talk to someone who's currently experiencing homelessness about, well, let's get you into a GED class so you can get a better job. You know, I can't talk. Right now, we've got to get a roof
Survive.
over your head.
Get out of
right?
survival mode a little
So
bit.
there's the economic benefits, how it impacts the community is by giving those steps. There's like just little steps that need to be taken. The first one is rental. You know, you can take someone from a homeless situation into a shelter and then to a rental.
There we go.
And then we can work on everything that you need in order to get a mortgage and get into home ownership.
And that was sort of one of the questions I had when we were, if this was a long-term, or if this was sort of a stepping stone for people, because there are 10 properties, right? So ideally, these people are coming in and they're living here, and then they're probably moving on, right, to home ownership. Is that kind of? Is that
It would be ideal. That would be
Yes.
ideal. However, we know that there's some families that are going to want to rent.
Yeah.
That's just what they're going to want to do, and that's fine.
Okay.
As long as they're in a position of self-sufficiency,
Yeah.
right? So there may be some families that stay there, but our hope for them is that they would go forward into home ownership. Yeah.
Lovely. Now, you mentioned when your ministries were first kind of starting to feel the needs for from the community, you guys were going door to door. Is there anything else is there any other role that the community played when it came to being feedback and building this project?
Absolutely. We one of the first things we did also when we were establishing the organization is looked back at county data. So the county goes out and does surveys and does sort of focus groups with the community. I'm not sure, I think it's like every 3 or 5 years, something like that. But we pulled all that information and just looked back to see what have people been saying, what are the trends, what have they been like asking for years that we can help get again across the finish line, right?
Yeah.
So we just started looking at all that data first. We did have a couple of community meetings. We did our own survey, and we did the door-to-door surveys that we did. So we got a lot of input. We haven't had like design charrettes or anything like that so far. We're just not at that point in the process, but we will have.
So as we all know, it does take a village, right? So are there any other partnerships to speak of that have helped bring this project to fruition for you?
Absolutely. We could not have done this on our own. Just the amount of financial knowledge that it takes to put something like this together. There's something that I'm learning now called a capital stack. I've learned sources and uses and different kinds of terminology and budgets and what it takes to actually make something like this feasible. So the Housing Authority of Brevard County has been a very strong partner with us getting this thing even conceptualized, right? So there's a consultant that we work with, which is Todd Zimmerman from GSA Consulting. He's been a godsend. And then there's also the Florida Housing Coalition. They provide technical assistance. The Florida Community Loan Fund. So there's just all these entities that are very aware of the need for affordable housing in the community and will come alongside folks who have the land and have the desire to do it. So we've been pulling on all of them.
This is great, yeah. And I know there's more projects budding up all around the community, which is great.
Yes.
So what's next? Tell me what's next. What are some of the next steps for your project, and when can the community expect to see progress here? I'm sure there's progress all the time, but
it's so interesting because the progress that happens first is it's like a seed. It's underground, and it takes a while to actually push up where somebody can see it.
Right.
So this has been a few years of work, and like I was just telling Kyle and Jennifer, the building that's standing on the property is still there. And it's like, it's mocking me, like, I just want to see that building come down. But what we can expect next is that, first of all, this is a proof of concept. This first 10 is, yes, it works, yes, we can do it, yes, it's feasible. And then it's a prototype to be duplicated wherever else we can get land.
Fantastic.
If it works well, we're going to keep doing it. Yeah.
Definitely.
So.
Well, I love to hear it. I'm so glad you've been able to team up with Launch Credit Union here, and we're very familiar with them in the studios here. And then I also just want to, anyone else that's watching here, can Jennifer or Kyle, can you tell us a little bit more about how they can get in touch if someone is looking for affordable housing, and for you as well? I want you guys to go down the line if someone's interested in getting on this list, if someone's interested in getting access to grants, because I love that you guys brought up grants and things, because I think that's a lot of information that people just don't even realize is a resource for them. And that's money that does not have to be paid back, which is nice, for the person that needs it, right?
They can always go to our website where they can get the information of our home loan specialist team. Give us a call. We will walk through any program that we have available. We have a lot of other assistance as far as, helping with the We Match program to also help for down payments. So there's lots of things that we can. So the first step would just be give us a call.
Right.
Talk to one of us so that we can see, are you ready now? Or are you ready maybe down the line 12 months, 18 months, but let's just get started together and help them, whether it be, for down payment assistance, helping with maybe correcting their credit, anything like that. It's better to just start right away so that we know.
Exactly, and just again, that's one of the things I love about you guys and your whole team at all the different branches. You do your members can come in and they can learn something. They can and they can actually just kind of use you as a resource, which is great. And then I also wanted to bring up that reminds me, we've talked about some of these resources, Jennifer, in the past.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're watching, we'll go ahead and link that on some previous videos and some previous articles that we've done that talk about that We Match program, that talk about some of the debt savers. So, but with that, I wanted to give you two. Is there anything that that you'd like to say to the community as far as how they can?
If there's a family that's experiencing homelessness, we have case managers that we have street outreach case managers that will come to them and actually do an intake, and we work with them to find housing, and then for a year after that with just case management services to make sure that the family's okay. So that's really important. If anybody's experiencing homelessness, you can reach us at info@tooleycdg.org.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be sure to link that.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
And thanks again for joining me in the studio
No
today.
problem. Thank you.
Launch team, Kyle, is there anything you want to add here?
I don't think I have anything else to say that they haven't already brought up. I just would like to say to all the listeners out there that everybody's at a different point in their journey.
Yes.
And so no matter where you're at, it's always good to get help or maybe support or get advice. And Launch is here. You can go visit our website at LaunchCU. You can come in and visit us at any of the branches. You can call us, and we will help at any point in that journey. And we just are out there to support the community and help wherever we can help. And we're so excited about going along with Karen in this journey because we feel like there's a lot of need, and we're hoping that we can help fill some of that need.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Until next
Thank you.
time, I appreciate you guys for being here and for everything that you're doing for the community. And stay tuned to Space Coast Daily for everything going on here in the community and with these fine folks here.